This episode is brought to you by Prodzic Properties. If you're looking for a unique luxury new construction home, check out Prodzic Properties' lineup of new homes coming in 2024. Looking to build a custom home? Prodzic Properties is here to bring your vision to life. Visit ProdzicProperties.com to learn more. Welcome back to another episode of That Westfield Podcast. Today we're joined by Dave Weaving and Steph Carroll of StretchLab. What's up, guys?
It's all good today.
It's good.
A little chilly, a little damp.
Snow. It is nice today. For
not sticking.
Perfect day for stretching.
And it's not 20 degrees, which also helps with the stretching afterwards, right? I guess when you're colder, it's
absolutely
a little tougher.
After you shovel.
So I actually just had my first stretch. Thanks to you guys. I appreciate that so much. It was really cool. I've never had that done before. And I'm definitely not someone who's like a yoga person and unfortunately not that athletic. So it felt really, really nice, first off. So thank you for hooking me up with that. Tell me a little bit more about how you guys got started, what StretchLab is for those who do not know, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So StretchLab does one-on-one assisted stretching. And as I learned when I opened my first studio, people then look at you with a blank stare because you had to then explain what is one-on-one assisted stretching. I often describe it in some respects as it's lazy man operator-assisted yoga.
Right.
Your job is to lay on a bench and be relaxed. Were you relaxed when you got stretched earlier?
Oh my God, the benches were so comfortable, which I should have expected, but I wasn't expecting. And yeah, the second my back hit it, I was just like, okay. And more so because I knew someone else was going to just do all the work for me. So that made it more relaxing.
And that's a big part about it. I mean, the reason I got into this, I got in about 6 years ago. I had retired, realized very quickly I needed something to do. And looked around at a variety of businesses. I came from a franchising world. Mm-hmm. StretchLab is a franchise. I am a franchisee. And I got talking to a number of folks about a bunch of different business ideas. And the person who brought StretchLab to me said, it's owned by the same people as Club Pilates.
Oh, cool.
And Club Pilates is going to blew up really fast.
Right.
This is going to be the next big thing.
Nice.
And I said, all right, let's give it a whirl. What I didn't really realize was I was one of the first people they talked to.
Oh.
And so my Livingston location is the world's first franchise location for this
very
brand.
Cool.
And we got into it because I said, everybody needs this.
Right.
Active people need it to help prevent injury and things like that. Stay active, hit your best scores. Inactive people need it to help get them going.
Yeah.
And whether it's tension, stress relief, lengthening and strengthening your muscles, or whatever it is. For me, sometimes it's just stress relief all over my head. You know, and you get on the bench, close your eyes sometimes, and just feel your best.
Cool. And then, Steph, you got involved sort of recently, but you have a very strong, physical background as far as understanding people's bodies, how they work, and really the mechanics behind why StretchLab is so special.
Yes, I've been with Dave for 2 years, lucky enough to find a path in my career that brought together all the things I love. I swam in college my freshman year, and then I've been a personal trainer for about the past 10 to 12 years, teaching classes. And I'd been in corporate sales a long time before that. So this came together. I actually was training, and the opportunity came to go get a stretch in Livingston. Mm-hmm. And then the opportunity came up, and it benefited me tremendously. I got a membership. A month later, I had PR'd my front squat and got back to running. And I had been pulling back from running. My hip had been bothering me, and I had been working on my front squat for 5 years, trying to hit this PR. So just a month after doing this, and as a trainer, I focused more with my clients on corrective exercise and program design. There were a lot of trainers that focused on, doing some assisted stretching. It wasn't anything I had done. So, but a month after this, I said, oh my God, this is amazing. And then the opportunity came up Dave was going to open a third studio and wanted to bring someone on board to help open that up. And I was like, wait, people leave happy. This has benefited me.
Right.
Count me in.
Right.
So cool. I've been here for 2 years.
Wow.
Well, and I think one of the key things there is when I had the first two studios, all right, I could spin the plates okay. I knew I had a contractual obligation to open a third, so I opened the third in Summit in 2022.
Cool.
I knew I could not do that without somebody else to bring some help to the team, build it up, and Steph's combination of a sales background and completely understanding what we do is big. And there's no way we would have been able to bring this to Westfield without having the right team in place.
Yeah, no, and she's super great. I mean, the second I walked in there, it was just like really nice and comfortable, and you guys are, the whole staff was like super sweet and welcoming, and especially when you're doing something new for the first time, and you're not really sure how you're going to feel about it. Like, I'm always nervous about doing something new, so it was cool. I was definitely surprised, like at the aesthetic in there too. It was like artsy, but like it was like upscale, nice, but like you also felt really, really relaxed. So is that like a StretchLab thing in particular? You guys get to make your own designs and stuff?
No, the fun part, the magic of a franchise is the goal is to have everybody look the same in terms of when you walk into your experience. I've added a few touches of my own to it, but as you can imagine from looking at it, like all of these fitness concepts, they're required to come out of Southern California.
Right.
And the guys,
so ahead of the game.
They put thought into why the L, A, and B are light blue, red, and dark blue.
Right.
The particular colors and things, the artwork on the walls is designed to be soothing and relaxing and build a community effect, feel to it.
Right. So you guys, I mean, obviously there's like stretch studios all over the place. What makes StretchLab special? From my understanding, it has to do with like your training process, but can you guys elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I would say the thing that makes us different is we are the only assisted stretching business in the country right now that has a nationally accredited training program. So what does that mean? In layman's terms, what it means is our training that we put all of our flexologists through has been vetted by one of the national accreditation organizations. And then we have an extensive training program that also requires us to hire people who already have backgrounds. We can't just take anybody off the street.
You can't hire me if I'm like, I want a job, train me.
Not unless you've left a few things off your resume.
Podcast host doesn't count.
I was going to say, Steph, you want to share a little bit about how the training works?
So the training, when we hire them on, so whether the background, they have to be certified as a personal trainer, or a yoga instructor, massage therapist, or a lot of times we'll get exercise science undergrads. They finish a degree, so they've got a lot of body knowledge, anatomy, movement. They're usually on a path towards either athletic training or maybe they want to become a physical therapist down the road. Perfect, it's a long path.
Yeah.
So the training itself, there's 100 hours involved. So they have to complete modules, 2 weeks worth of modules, and then a 2-day workshop, and then 20 hours of practice.
Wow.
We have them do a lot more in the studio because, one, we want to make sure that they know what they're doing. Right. It's that quality control.
Totally.
And we will not then, let them start until we feel confident that they've demonstrated they understand. And two, relating to one of the things too we look for is not only that skill set, but a personality. Yeah. You want to build relationships. It's, you want to be able to have a conversation, really truly find out when someone comes to us, there's something they're dealing with. Right. And we want to find out what it is and peel that, because we do have a solution, but we want to find out how that's going to fit for that person. Yeah, because it's never just one thing too. People go through a lot of stuff. It's not always just an injury. Like you said, it could be stress management, or they're just sitting all day long, and it's always a lot of things at play. So that makes a lot of sense. And I, going into that, I definitely didn't realize how much training that people would have. So it's nice to know, especially if you are someone who's had a lot of injuries. Like I haven't, so it's not something I would overly worry about. But if I, had been in an accident or have an old sports injury, like I wouldn't want to just go on someone's stable who could potentially not understand my body. And I coach our sales team when we reach out, we do a thorough intake. Okay. And at that point, I'll have them ask the question too, are there any injuries we should know about? Right. And I prompt them a second time. Have you ever had an assisted stretch? For instance, in physical therapy or the personal trainer. You'd be amazed what that, oh yes, so 2 years ago I was in a car accident. Well, tell me about that. Right. Walk me through it. And then I'll say, are you cleared to exercise? Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure, there are times where I've recommended people like, why don't you give your doctor a call first? Right. That's cool. Right. We want to make sure that they're safe coming in. So it's a full in-depth intake we do before they come in, and we book them. That makes sense. So, so you guys have 4 locations now, obviously one in here in downtown Westfield. I think people need to maybe understand if they're a right fit for needing StretchLab, right? So we talked about like sports injuries or people who are athletic who want to, up their game. My favorite ad that I've ever seen on your door was like the guy playing golf. And I was like, oh my God, that's so genius. Like, of course, the guy who plays golf, like, you were saying for like 3 days at a time, they have these tournaments, like they need to be stretched before and after. But who else besides athletes needs stretching that might not realize it?
Well, the neat part about this, and one of the reasons I picked this one, is everyone. So let's start. We'll take it from the young to the old.
Okay.
Student athletes. My kid's going to play D1 and then go play pro. And you've got them playing the same sport year round. They're doing the exact same muscle movements.
Right.
One of the beauties of playing multiple sports is you at least get to different muscle groups.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get people coming and going, my kid's having a little trouble, right now in whatever sport.
Interesting.
And we'll help them with that. A lot of weekend warriors, the people who, I play golf on the weekends, but I really struggle playing even 2 days in a row. What can you help me with? Pickleball. We hear the word pickleball.
Yes. The new hot thing.
It's awesome. But there are also people, we still get people coming in going, I was in an exercise routine pre-COVID, and I really haven't done much since. Which, it's been a couple of years now.
Right.
And so we can help them get moving as well. Sometimes it's a grandparent who's saying, I'm getting my first grandchild. I want to be able to move with them.
That's huge, right? It's like,
It is.
you don't even think about it until that time comes around, and then you're like, oh, I got to get my act together.
Well, a lot of people who get on the bench, myself included, are, I probably should have stretched more in my 30s and 40s.
What are you talking about? You're not 30 right now, Dave? Oh, I'm just trying to get a second free stretch. That's all.
Anytime.
All right. Yeah, so young to old. So I was telling you guys, I've had multiple sclerosis for 16 years, and obviously staying strong, keeping my body, just as flexible as possible is really, really important. And the first few years you don't think about it, but now them getting into year 15, 16, 17, it's like, I should probably be doing that. And there's a lot of people with autoimmune diseases or other stuff, or even just minor things. Even after a surgery, you probably don't realize how tense your body might get after stuff, because it just kind of gets tight, and then you're just going about your day. And I'm sure you guys see a lot of people coming in post-injury, right? Or people falling and that kind of stuff. What have you experienced with that?
We actually, a woman came in this morning, and when I did the intake with her and I'd asked her about, physical therapy, have you, if you had an assisted stretch, she had fallen on the ice 2 years ago and had sprained, or that's what her doctor described it, her lower back. And that was 2 years ago. What we do when people come in for an initial assessment, once we've done the intake, we use maps. It looks like an iPad on the wall. I describe it as a personal trainer with my clients. I used to do functional movement screens.
Cool. Yeah.
It's basically what I call a digitized movement screen. Mm-hmm. Basically taking a look, the person will do 3 overhead squats. Okay. And the iPad will catch the angles they're holding.
That's so cool.
Right? So it's going to pick up if there's any movement restrictions, ankles, knees, hips, shoulders. So when we talk about everybody's on their computer at home working remotely, so think about that posture, the rounded shoulders, so that the chest is really tight. Mm-hmm. The upper back, the little rotator cuff muscle, tends to be overworked. Okay. And that gets actually super tight there. It's all in a weakened state. So this picks it up and it starts the discussion for them, like, hey, look at your posture.
Wow.
And the S score
right there.
Yeah, and the S score is symmetry. This is actually technology they've used with athletes for a long time to point out right versus left and say, ooh, that's an injury about to happen. So a lot of people are dealing with some pain. They're walking around with pain that they don't even realize they're carrying.
Right.
So it really is. I had a guy, I will say an hour ago, called, and his wife had bought him a gift certificate. He just got diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Oh, shit.
And we've had doctors say, you get very stiff, upper to lower. So he's coming in and he's very excited about it. Arthritis is another condition where it's important to stretch that out.
Yeah.
And work and release that tension and pain. So it crosses, right, all demographics and types.
Everybody needs it, right? I'm sure.
And it hits on something that also is one of the things that makes us different is we believe in a consistently customized stretch.
Okay.
The 3 of us sitting here talking right now don't need the same stretch. Mm-hmm. And even if you got stretched today and you came in 2 days from today, you probably don't need the same stretch you
Makes
got
sense.
today. And so by training folks and being able to focus, understanding that a gentleman who comes in with Parkinson's is going to need something different than a guy who's, setting his PR in his front squat.
Right, and with their staff having so much training, they're able to kind of see that and understand that. And even if somebody isn't great at being vocal about their situation, you guys just know, which is really nice. So, all right, let's talk about what I went through today. So, because I did a lower body, right? I did 25-minute lower body. What was her name? Pauline?
That was Paulina.
She was so sweet. Paulina, shout out to you. Thank you so much for my stretch. So she did my lower half, which is was nice for me because my hips are always so tight, probably from sitting in these chairs all the time. And like I know that I have like outward hip rotation. So like in some ways, she was like explaining to me how I was like more flexible in one way than the other, and I was kind of surprised. But like the stretching she had done on me, it's not like stuff I could do at home for myself. It was like different angles, because at first you're like, oh, I could just stretch at home, but then someone else is actually doing it, and you're like, oh. Yeah, I can't do that with my own leg. So that was really cool. So that was the second half, or the bottom half. What's like a top half stretch look like?
That can get into a variety of things. So you'll get into a little bit more body rotation. So those golfers,
okay.
I'm a golfer, it helps you with your turn.
Okay.
We also do shoulder and arm rotations in and out. And you can see, quite frankly, how often somebody's arm on one side will rotate different than the other.
Okay.
And that can be a function of a variety of things. How you carry your backpack.
Makes sense, right?
I guarantee
That's
shoulders rough. Also some neck and side twists as well. So the ability to open up your side, which in essence allows your whole body to breathe and relax. So it allows you to pull some of the tension out of your body. I have walked in from time to time and actually and asked the team and said, all right, we're going from chest up for 25 minutes. That's all we're doing.
Right.
I'm carrying an awful lot of tension in my shoulders. See if you can put me out.
So people can kind of pick and choose, like, okay, so for example, that you're just all up here this time, but like people can just request whatever they need or
that's the beauty. And that's the beauty of being able to customize it. The staff is trained so you can walk in, and a great situation would be you have a stretch. We may give you a piece of homework. We're not going to give you a ton of homework because we're realistic. The reason you're coming
right? Nobody wants to do
it. We'll give you one piece of homework, and then we'll take a note on that and be able to ask you about it next week and say, so did you do that? Great. Now, how did your body react to that? What do we want to do this week? What do we want to focus on? Because we can, particularly with the 50-minute full body stretch, we have time to go a little deeper into particular areas based on what's going on in your body that day.
Cool. Yeah, I do that.
And again, what Dave was talking about, the customizations. Let's say Dave comes in one week and he's been a very stressful week, and so it's your upper back, and when you're talking about upper body, right? You've got your pulling muscles and your pushing muscles, so your neck, traps, lats, all of those can get very tight as we deal with stress. Somebody may be making progression on a certain area, but then they got off a 6-hour flight and delays, and so they might, so the flex could say, hey, Dave, I see, last week we worked on, your neck and your upper back. Do you want to continue that work today? And he says, no, I just got off this 6-hour flight. I'm super tight. My low back is bothering. Right. So that's where it's customized. And the notes are, all right, today we worked on this because Dave got back. And next week, let's continue the work on the upper body.
So I'm assuming, just like anything else in life, that the more you do it, the better it works. Or like the better you get at it, or the more flexible people become, and then they, I guess, become less prone to injuries or less prone to aggravating old injuries and stuff like that.
Absolutely. It allows you to move better, less pain. I am a golfer. I can give you 2 specific examples of where getting stretch regularly helped. Used to be, we're on the 14th, 15th hole in the tee shot, you swing through the tee, and your left hand just went to the lower back. It was like, okay, that's starting to bother me. Don't notice it anymore.
That's
cool.
The
more interesting one that a lot of people go, it helped you with your putting.
Huh.
And the reason it helped me with my putting was I'm a decent putter, but I usually get all the way down like in a catcher position, if you're a baseball catcher.
Right.
All the way down, up on your toes, and I couldn't get that low.
Huh.
And so then my sight line on the putt got off, and so my putting started getting worse. I started getting stretched more, I was getting back down low again, and I'm back to putting in a way that, most people are like, it helped you with your putting?
Also,
it's not exactly a high intensity shot.
Yeah, but imagine like stability too, right? I would think over time it just makes you more stable.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny. My wife asked me and said, "Do you have anything that helps with sciatica?" I'm like, "Yeah, the sciatic issues are absolutely coming right out of the hips, and those are things we can absolutely help people with. And it's about getting to know people. We build relationships with our members. Westfield's a new studio, so I don't have years-long members here yet.
Right.
We have about 20 members who joined us in 2018 in Livingston who are still with us.
That's very cool.
We've got about 20 from Morristown in 2019, still with us. And it's kind of neat seeing how you build a relationship with them.
Yeah. For sure. I think it's one of those things where there's so many different things you could do in health and wellness, but being able to do something like this that just runs the gamut of everything. It just ropes all the things you're doing. It just gets roped together with stretching, which I had never really thought about it until I went today. And I see a tremendous amount of value in it, because again, at 37, I'm like, oh, I know I need to stretch. And I should do it more at home. But it was a completely different experience than I thought it was going to be. So I'm really glad you guys are here. How do people sign up? What's the process like when somebody comes in? You had mentioned you do an intake form, but what options do they have? Do you guys have packages or one-offs?
Hold of us, and I'll talk about the next part.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean the number?
Yeah, the number. How to find us.
1 million.
So if you want to call us, we'd be happy to talk to you. The main number is 908-864-5254.
Cool.
We are Westfield at StretchLab.com.
Okay.
So if you wanted to email us, we're happy. We can address email at any time.
Nice.
We will do the intake so that when I was talking about when we try to find out what was prompted you to take a look at us, find out more about you, our initial assessments, as we talked about, there's either 25-minute sessions, which is more focus, or 50 minutes, which is our signature stretch session, where we really get a chance to see what's going on in your body from head to toe.
Do you recommend that for someone's first time?
Depending on if they tell us I'm tight in the upper body, I'm tight around the hips,
Okay, so whatever they need, you don't make them do a full one.
No, I'd say what is it that you need? And I talked to a gentleman today. He said, I'm not sure I could do 50 minutes. I said, all right, you're gonna watch 25 goes by fast. Again, it's more focused. We can't get to the whole body. And on the 50 minutes, I want them to come in. They can get the MAPS assessment.
Oh, nice.
Good discussion. But again, it's what do you need, right? And then so you can email us, you can call us. I'm going to have Dave talk about from there.
I was going to say you can find us at StretchLab.com.
Okay, that's it right there. Just find a location.
And,
cool.
And we're, of course, also, you can find us at StretchLab Westfield on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Cool.
And, the neat part about it is, going back to what I was saying before about having relationships with people for years, our membership only has a 3-month initial term.
Nice.
And it has a variety of them. For people out there, and then after that it's month to month. So
right.
I look at it as we've had month to month members.
It's very cool. Yeah.
We've got a family of 3 in one studio. The mother, the father, and the daughter come in. They each do a 25-minute stretch once a week. We have a family membership that works for them. They are booked until January of 2025.
Cool. So you can do family, individual. I think there was so you can. Is the family the same as the one we can share with
You can do one
person
with one person. You can do one that's
that's
shared
cool.
with up to 4. So we have a variety of things. We like to think
it's
all about the flexibility.
I would think a couple couples would love that too, because I don't feel like going this week. Why don't you go this week, or just switch off it, because you might not always need it every single week, but having that flexibility in your packages.
Well, and that's what it's all about. Because like I even tell our teams, we're here about helping you with your flexibility, not about the sale. If you're trying to decide between 2 memberships, we're going to tell you to buy the smaller one.
Right.
Because I'd rather
Get started,
have you use it. We'd rather have you use it and be happy.
Totally, 1,000%.
That's what this is all about. It's about helping people achieve their goals. A member in one of the other studios said to me last Saturday, "Why would anyone stop doing this?" And I said, "I love the way you're thinking."
Right.
But the reality is, it is cumulative. So, a stretch, you got stretched today. We're going to get you in a couple more times so you can see that you'll feel different after your 3rd stretch than your 1st stretch, your 4th stretch, and your 3rd stretch. And you'll start to get greater mobility in your body. And, as, say, contrasting that with a massage. My massage therapist is a member. We both go to each other.
Very cool.
We both know, and I said, "How would you describe it?" She goes, massage makes you feel great for 2 days. Stretches, if you do, if you got massaged every week, you're going to feel great for 2 days.
Right.
I feel great right now. I got a massage this morning, but when you get stretched, it is cumulative, and all of a sudden you start going, my range of motion is better.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm closer to my toes than I used to be. Those of us who've never touched their toes, And that's the part that really helps out, because it allows people to start thinking about doing different things.
Right.
I hate hearing when people actually tell us they've stopped doing something because you don't have to.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. Even as you get older, sometimes you forget. Even in your late 30s, I'm like, I can't do most of what I used to do. Or one time I actually threw my hip out just by
drying my legs off after the shower, and I was like, oh, well, why is that happening? That was 5 years ago. I was only 32, and you just don't even realize like how quickly it can go. And then of course, like our parents get older, and we see them starting to have injuries. So that's probably one thing I would, if my parents were local, I would convince them to go, because I worry about them. I want them to be able to like stay as mobile as they can, and especially my mom had it was a hip replacement, right? So it's like, she did the PT, but like then what? What do you do after that?
In some respects, we often think about ourselves as the PT aftercare.
Right. I like that.
Because they give you a piece of paper, they give you a stretch strap, they both sit in your car until you go to a car wash, or at least that's what it is for me when I do PT. And it's,
like you said, it's not fun, right?
It's having somebody help you through something.
Right.
We have a lot of members who actually have hip replacements, knee replacements.
Right.
You can work through that.
Before.
Yeah.
And had remarkable.
Smart.
We have a member in Summit who he built up before, had it, and he recovered so quickly.
That's great.
Went through and came back to us. So it's phenomenal. And the other complementary, a lot of people will go to a chiropractor.
Right.
Reminding them that chiropractic, right? We're looking at spinal manipulation. If your thoracic area, upper and lower back, we're talking the lats, the traps, rhomboids, and then you're getting the obliques, the core, if that's tight, they can't actually manipulate. So there are people that work with chiropractic, and they're like, wow.
Is that why it hurts so much when I get cracked?
Well, and they're able to actually do more. So it's a complementary.
That was actually me. My chiropractor be sitting there hammering my back and never getting anything in the middle of the back.
Right.
I started getting stretched, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that actually works now.
Right.
And that does feel a lot better. Oh, great.
I love it. All right, so tell everyone, gave them the website. Are you guys doing a special deal for our people so they can come in and check it out?
For people who listen to That Westfield Podcast, if you mention That Westfield Podcast, your first 50-minute stretch is normally only $49. For our That Westfield Podcast listeners, it's going to be $40.
Woo!
Mention you heard it on here. So, and to put that in perspective, on an a la carte basis, it's $115.
Wow, cool.
Normally $49 for your first, but for our listeners here today.
Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Go get stretched. It was a lot of fun, and definitely it was nice. I'm looking forward to how I feel tomorrow, actually. I almost expected it to be burning afterwards because I have like a little bursitis situation, and it's not so far. So I'm really excited about that, because she just did it so slowly and with such care. And you're like, oh, like it was nice, because normally I probably stretched too fast. Now looking at how she did it, I'm like, I'm doing this wrong at home. So it's also nice that I could just take what I learned today too, and even just, start doing a little bit on my own and keep getting better. So thank you so much, guys. This was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Cannot wait to come back and get my top half done. My top half. maybe I think I'm just going to spring for the full body next time. So, all right, guys, StretchLab.com. Hit them up on Instagram. Say what's up. They are so awesome, and everyone is always there to help. So thank you again, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye.